Set in the dark medieval world of Time of Legends Joan of Arc, in Destinies, players will explore this world with epic adventures and dynamic events as they try to fulfill their destiny and win the game. Thank you for joining me today at Tantrum House Studio D. I'm Kevin Delp. Time of Legends Destinies is a 1-to-3 player story-driven, competitive, app-supported adventure game that takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to play each scenario. It's being published by Lucky Duck Games with licensing from Mythic Games, and this game is coming to Kickstarter at the end of September, and they sent us this prototype copy to look at. Everyone has a player board, 2 main dice and 3 smaller effort dice. Begin with some coins, and you're going to choose a character to play that has your own objective to win the game. The prototype provided one scenario for us to play, and this scenario will actually be available for everyone, so I do want to be careful in this video not to spoil too much, but I still want to give you a feel for the game. The app will tell you where to place the skill tokens on your player board. The app will also tell you how to place out the initial map tiles and what goes on them. On your turn, you can move up to 2 tiles away and interact with something on that tile. The app will then give you options that you can then choose. The colored icons mean there is a test involved. You'll pick the number of dice you want to use for the test and roll them. Then look at your player board and count the number of tokens at and below that number you rolled. That is the number of successes. If you rolled any automatic successes, you would add that to the number as well. And input that number into the app, and the app will tell you what happened. When you are finished interacting, you'll end your turn, and it's the next player's turn. You always have your 2 main dice to roll, but any effort dice are discarded until you start refreshing them at the beginning of each turn. You'll also be gaining experience tokens throughout the game, and you can spend these on your turn as well to add more skill tokens to your player board. It costs more experience to place them on lower numbers. You'll be gaining items throughout the game, sometimes paying for an item with gold. The app may have you place a number of items in a pile that can be bought at certain places. And you'll be gaining things depending on what you do in the game. And these cards you'll be able to use, some of them are a one-time use, and some of them say like always on them that the effect is always available, like for instance a torch always has light or things like that. And you can have up to 5 cards at one time. You'll be able to interact with people and places throughout the game. The game might even tell you to move these pieces during the game depending on what is happening in the story. And it's really nice that the app just tells you what is happening in the story and where to move the characters and the pieces. Each player has their own winning objective, so it's up to you how you progress in the game. The character card itself gives you different choices you can make for your destiny. Maybe, for instance, one will give you a more fighting role, or that same character might say you need to find certain items. So even within the card itself, you have choices to make. And it's really up to you which way you want to explore and what you interact with, so you might not really directly affect what another player is doing. And there are plenty of quests to go on, like finding someone's horse, fighting wolves, or just trying to enter a manor house. Many times in the game, the character that you interact with or that person will ask you something, or even you can ask the character something, or even you can ask the character about something that you have, a card that you have, and scan it with the app, and you'll be able to gain more information. But your ultimate goal is to complete your objective based on what your character card says. So how you upgrade your character is important with the different skills. This will help you get more successes. Eventually, you'll come to a place or meet a person that has a special point of interest, and it has to do with the Destinies, and it will designate, the app will designate that with a special icon. And then it's up to you, once you interact with this place or person, and you decide to move forward, there's no going back. This triggers the epic finale for you. But this will not just be a one turn and you're done. You'll have multiple turns where you're trying to accomplish the task that the app is giving you, and multiple tasks, and how well you actually do on those tasks hopefully will progress you through the story, and it will lead you through your destiny to the ultimate end. I think I started my epic finale like 1 or 2 turns before Melissa did. But I had some very unlucky rolls while I was playing, and one of them was Snake Eyes, which really put me in a bind. You don't really know everything that you need before you start on your Destiny quest. And there were some tasks that needed special skills or special items that I didn't have. And let's just say it's best to be prepared for as much as possible when you start your Destiny quest. And let's just say Melissa won, and we'll leave it at that. This is set in the world of Joan of Arc game from Mythic Games, so you will see some familiar sculpts and some new ones too, the Abaddon. The game is story driven, but depending on your choices, the story will be different and go to different branching paths. So there's definitely replayability in the game, especially if you decide to play with different characters, and even just the number of scenarios available. And Lucky Duck said they are creating a community editor where fans can create their own scenarios. I like the exploration. You may have some idea where you want to go based on the story in the app, but you really don't know what you'll find as you discover new map tiles. The game app will tell you who won as soon as that person completes their destiny, so you can't just go off exploring and do what you want if you're trying to win the game. The app interface is seamless, although you do need to be aware where the camera is on your phone. Melissa accidentally scanned the wrong item once, and I don't believe there's an undo button. One of the coolest things for me is the ease of getting into the game. The rulebook is simple and clear and gets you started fast with minimal setup, and the app sort of leads you through the rest, so that's a big plus for me. Now this is all just a prototype, but the illustrations and graphic design are very good. If you're looking for a story-driven exploration game with epic adventures that uses an app technology in this magical medieval world of the Time of Legends Joan of Arc from Mythic Games, then check out Time of Legends Destinies being published from Lucky Duck Games on Kickstarter this September, and we would love for you to subscribe to Tantrum House.